partisan politics injected in a nonpartisan race, a very radical approach, an effort to undermine the very underpinnings of the system. They're also proposing to undo and try to figure out how to overcome the will of the people in League City, because they just voted for a city manager form of government, and these radical Republicans want to get more and more involved in the daily operations so they can manipulate. Remember, one of the things about Republicans is, to the extent that they believe in Reaganism, and most of them do, there are only three positions they can take. They can be stupid and confused, because Reagan is the guy who said, government isn't the solution, it's the problem. At which point, an honorable man would have resigned. Because I'm president of the nation, of the government, I'm the leader of the government, and I'm saying it's the problem.
It's not a problem, right?
Yeah, what do I do? I let somebody else who thinks it's a solution take over. Because he's the problem. But, so they're confused. And most of the Republicans really are. They're baffled. They want government because they want those services, they want things to work right, but they don't want to pay for it. They think they're paying too much, they think other people are not paying. They're very confused. And that's the bulk of the group. The next group is the Grover Norquist part of the Republican Party. They're basically anarchists. Remember that G.K. Chesterton said, the poor complain when they're governed badly, the rich complain when they're governed at all.
That's right.
The Grover Norquist branch of the Republican Party complains that there's any government, and they want anarchy. So they want to starve government of its funds until they can drown in the bathtub, so they can control. The only funds then would be the corporations and the rich people. That is a legitimate position to be in from their perspective, and if you believe that government is the problem. The third position is what I call the Dick Cheney position. Steal as much as you can while you can, before Grover Norquist makes it all go away. Now, it turns out that the Grover Norquists will keep rocking along. The Dick Cheney people will roll that first group of the stupid people every single day of the week. So that's the position of the Republican Party. So we've got to have a counter message to that. So if you were looking at this one, you got some opportunities for some counter messages about the will of the people, the conservative role of government being to do what the people want it to do. So, you can do this, and the reason I pointed out is, if you're going to write a letter to the editor, don't just wake up one morning and think, I want to write about X. I get to do that on the guest columns. If you're writing a guest column, you can do that. If you're writing a letter to the editor, you need to be responding to something. And so pick something in the paper and respond to it. Now, you can stretch it. Your response does not have to be perfectly matched to what the theme of the article was. This reminds me of...
Don't forget to follow rules in the paper.
So when you're writing a letter to the editor, first of all, we know they're important. We know why we have to do them. We know the kinds of messages and themes and what the Democratic Party and what our themes are, what's important. The next thing is reference an article. Reference something. Be specific. In your article of January 25th, you said that the Republican Party was behind nonpartisan candidates. I want to point out that this is a fundamental violation of the very principles of our city government. And not only that, but they're trying to overturn the duly elected decision of the people of the city of League City. I'm using that as an example, but you can get to that. The next step is be personal. You're going to write about Medicare? Talk about your experience on Medicare. Talk about how it saved your parents. Talk about how it's important for you. Yeah, if you're like me and old and gray, say, I remember when it was 1964, my grandparents couldn't get health insurance for love or money. And the only reason why our life expectancy has increased to the point where the Republicans are planning on getting rid of Social Security is because of Medicare, which they're going to get rid of too.
Some people talk,
Yeah.
right?
But make it personal. Make it about something you did, something you know. Or bring a fact that was not in the original article. Piece of information, a number, a story. Try to make it personal or have a fact. So they have a hook and a reason to do it, because then it's something that they didn't have. Now the next and absolutely the most important thing is read the rules. The rules are pretty straightforward. In this paper, it's 200 words. Don't write 201 words. Because remember, he's got 800 submissions. He's only going to print maybe 20
If you print that many.
in the course of a week. Mostly what he's doing is finding an excuse to throw them away. He's reading them, and he's looking for an excuse to not use that one. Because after he's thrown away all the easy ones, he's still got too many.
Rusty, you've made me feel better. He's always printed mine.
If you get it in, that's pretty successful. There's a lot of things he's wrong. Mostly he's looking to get rid of. And not because he's evil or trying to get rid of them, because he's got more than he's got space for. Because the most thing, he will always get more space for an ad.
Misspelled words.
But he only has so much space for everything else. And he's looking to cut it down. So do not give him an excuse to throw yours away. Count the words. It's 201 words. Find one you don't need. Probably make it better, make it 190. Be short, sweet, to the point. And remember, always to make it either personal or bring in an extra fact. So that he's got some reason to say, if I print this, I've added something. And those are basically, I think, the key words. You do not have, if you read the, excuse me, if you do write one, don't worry about writing particularly well. Write grammatically correct. Proofread it, get the spelling errors out. But if you read the article, the letters to the editor, they're not always eloquent. Do not let that be an excuse not to write. Again, because the number one reason you're writing is to shift the editorial focus. The number two reason you're writing is to shift somebody else's opinion who reads it. But the number one and the most common reason, the most successful reason, is just to shift the editorial focus. Eloquence is good if you can do it. If you can't do it, don't let that be an excuse, because it's not really a problem. I think that's probably the main. Any comments, suggestions? How many of you have written letters to the editor?
He writes them, I sign them.
Now, how many are going to write letters to the editor?
How often? How often do you write letters to the editor?
About once a month. If I don't get a finish, I'll send in a couple, 2 or 3 more, so you throw them away. I wrote one paragraph right after the election. Congratulations to the Republicans riding the tidal wave to victory, but remember that tidal wave always goes out. It leaves nothing but destruction and chaos behind. Throw it in the trash.
But you know what? I bet
I've
he
done
had,
that to his benefit.
knowing Heber, I bet he had a laugh over that. I bet he did.
I think he's a good guy myself.
Yeah, he is. He's
Dog Jefferson, I don't like. He's anti-union, anti-Democrat 100%.
Right.
But I tell you what, he's certainly being beat up now by those same people. He's a lot less happy with Greg Roof than he used to be.
That's right.
When I moved from